Hi, everyone, and welcome to the Challenge Mats webinar. My name is Jordan Hanna, and I've been with Ozobot for a year and a half now, and I'm a curriculum developer on the education team. So I am so excited to be talking to all of you today about Challenge Mats. Our team poured our hearts into this project, and we were driven by our passion to create a tool that inspires students to be imaginative, while also collaborating with their peers and, of course, accelerating their coding skills. This is one of my favorite projects that I've worked on, and again, I can't wait to see them in the hands of students and educators. I'll start off reviewing our agenda of what we're going to talk about today. I'm going to go over what is a challenge mat, who is it for, and then we'll do a deep dive into some of the challenge mat curriculum. And I'll discuss how you will code with challenge mats and share with you some of the education team's best practices. And we'll finish off with a challenge mat demo. So, what is a challenge mat? We designed these challenge mats because we wanted to fuel students' curiosity and give them exciting opportunities for hands-on and challenge-based learning. The mat is an immersive instructional resource, and it provides a visual guide for students to learn about coding and robotics. And these mats are designed with various obstacles, as you can see in our Mars mat here. And it helps provide a real-world scenario, and it also follows a thematic story. The lessons that go with the mats present students with challenges that reflect those real-world situations, encouraging to apply not only their coding skills and coding knowledge, but also their problem-solving skills in this really fun and engaging environment. We have 4 thematic environments, and we designed these because we really wanted to create a space where students can unleash their imagination. And more specifically, we wanted students to be able to create this own little world around a soccer field or a basketball court, in the depths of the ocean, or on Mars. I'm going to give you a little brief overview of the storylines that come with each lesson plan. So to start off with the basketball mat, Ozobot is participating in the All-Star Basketball Showcase. Students will program Ozobot to demonstrate its skills of dribbling the ball, dodging defenders, and shooting hoops. In the soccer mat, Ozobot wants to succeed at the soccer tryouts. So students will actually be programming their Ozobot to move through cones, passing to teammates, and even scoring a goal. With the ocean mat, students take Ozobot scuba diving through the depths of the ocean, and they're learning about all the different layers. Students use their coding skills to help Ozobot complete missions, take underwater photographs, and discover aquatic creatures. And in the last theme, Ozobot goes on a mission to Mars and needs to set up base camp, find a missing supply crate, and save a lost rover. So each of these themes provides a unique setting for students to, again, practice their coding skills while connecting to those real-world applications, but at the same time tapping into their creativity. I am really curious to know which of these mats you think your students would be the most excited about. So go ahead and type in the chat which of these 4 themes your students would like the most. Give you about 30 seconds for that. Okay, see a lot of Mars and ocean. Oh, good. We've got some sports fans here. Basketball, soccer. Lots of excitement for all of them. I love to see it. Okay, we'll head on to our next slide. What's inside the box? It's really important to note that this product was designed by teachers for teachers with ease and use at the forefront. So the mat here measures 32 by 24 inches, making it the perfect size to fit on most classroom tables, but also to average desks pushed together. We made sure to keep this in mind so that you don't have to clear your entire classroom and work on the floor, or even reserve the gym just to use these. The mat is also made from a durable neoprene, which is a material commonly used for mouse pads in wetsuits. So it makes it both practical and long lasting. And what I mean by that is the mats can easily be rolled up for storage without leaving any creases. As a teacher, I know how frustrating it is to have a tool and use it in your classroom that you know your students love, but then it gets damaged when you store it. So we made sure with this that wouldn't be the case for you guys. We also wanted to create the opportunity for students to collaborate and problem solve together. So the mat is designed to accommodate up to 4 Ozobots at once, allowing 4 students to work with their own Ozobot. Or if you're pairing up students with each Ozobot, you can have 8 around the mat at a time. We really envision students huddled around the mat together, working side by side and tackling all these challenges as a team. On the right-hand side of the slide, you can see each mat comes with custom paper craft accessories, and they're designed to complement the theme of the mat. For example, this is the basketball mat, and it includes defenders, basketballs, backboards, and robotic arms for Ozobot. So those accessories will be used with the lesson plans, which help add an extra layer of challenge to their learning experience. But students can also use these accessories to create their own unique projects. The last thing I want to talk about that's inside the box is 2 sets of cards. The first is the Blockly Basics cards, and this introduces the fundamentals of Blockly. And then the second deck is called challenge cards, and those offer like a short, engaging activity for students, and they can complete them independently. These cards are designed for both individual work or small group collaboration, but they allow students to work at their own pace. And these cards are one amazing way to use the mat, but there's also a second that we've created. They are in-depth lessons. They really explore the themes further, and you'll be able to find those on Ozobot Classroom. I will share a little bit more about those with you in just a bit. Okay, who is it for? This product is perfect for upper elementary and middle school students, grades 4 to 8. And we know that these students are really ready to dive into Blockly concepts. And whether they're, beginners or experienced coders, with the lessons, once teachers provide the direct instruction, students can take on those challenges independently, which is why it's also really ideal for these additional programs here. So STEAM centers, summer camps, coding clubs, and after-school programs. Again, even if students have little to no experience with block-based programming, they can start with those self-paced Blockly Basics cards and also the challenge cards to just learn at their own pace. Okay, now for the challenge mat curriculum. We had so much fun developing this curriculum for these mats. Each mat you'll see comes with 4 lessons, and again, they're free in Ozobot Classroom. And those 4 lessons build upon one another. More specifically, the first 3 of the lessons introduce the programming concept, and then the final lesson serves as an exciting challenge where students can showcase all they've learned. But I want to note that in each of those lessons, students are creating full Blockly programs. Each lesson features an engaging storyline that immerses students in the Mats theme. I'll read one to you later on in the webinar. And the Challenge Mat curriculum helps students to master both intermediate up to advanced programming concepts. So the lessons focus on Blockly levels 3 to 5. Key concept or topics that are included are conditional logic, variables, functions, loops, math, and infrared communications. Most importantly, all lessons are fully aligned with CSTA and NGSS standards, ensuring a seamless fit into your classroom goals. I want to take another little brain break to consider which of these key programming concepts that I have listed here are you interested in introducing into your classroom? It can, again, be any of the items listed here, or maybe it's just block-based programming as a whole. Whatever it is, go ahead and type it in the chat. Great. So intro to Blockly concepts, Blockly, conditional logic and variables. There is a ton of that in these challenge mat lessons. Okay, great. We will move on. So that question leads perfectly into this next topic, how to code with challenge mats. And again, if you're new to block-based programming with Ozobot, you might be curious on how students are doing this coding. We have a block-based editor called Ozobot Blockly, where students can drag and drop blocks to create programs. You'll need an internet-connected device like a laptop, tablet, Chromebook, or desktop computer. And you can access Ozobot Blockly at ozoblockly.com/editor. We'll go ahead and hop over there right now so I can show you just a brief overview of what it looks like. So here is your student's workspace. Will they create their program? And on the left-hand side, you can see levels 1 through 5. Each level adds additional coding or categories here. And in these categories are all the blocks. So when your students start making their program, they'll just be able to drag and drop the blocks. And it's really easy for them to make edits and changes if they want to move things around. And then they can seamlessly connect their bot to run their program. I also, since we're in Ozobot Blockly, wanted to show you some examples for the challenge mat lesson. So you can see what your student's final program might look like. Here is one of them. If you're familiar with Ozobot Blockly, you can see that we've used some blocks from levels 4, 5. And in this program here, we are asking students to specify the function of the power button and also leverage the proximity sensors. Then they're going to use advanced light effects, and all of this together will turn Ozobot into a camera. This program here uses a lot of blocks, but we're really leveraging functions as well as loops and configurable movement. And students are asked to collect and move all the accessories on the mat. And in this last example program here, this teaches your students how to access Ozobot's infrared sensors and use them to communicate with another robot. So you can see here, this is the program for one of the bots to retrieve the infrared message from another bot. And it's really challenging students to make, to leverage decision-making blocks, which really levels up their skills in conditional logic. And so you can see these programs are pretty advanced, and we wanted to supply and provide student or teachers with kind of a solution to all of these programs, which is why in the lesson plan, you will find share codes. Right here is a lesson, one of the lesson plans for the Ocean Challenge Mat. And if you scroll down to the direct instruction, you will find some links, which are share codes. So here's a share code here. I'm going to keep scrolling. You can see share code for the completed program. If you open this up, it takes you to the program we were just looking at. And below it says intermediate program and advanced program. So you can think of these as um, links that you can give your students that is kind of a place for them to get started, whether they are new to coding or a little more advanced. Okay, and before we get to our demo, I did want to just share with you some of the education's team's best practices. These are things that are really going to support with a seamless facilitation and use with the mat. So the first one is to reference the diagrams. Included in each lesson plan is a diagram which shows you how to set up the accessories on the mat, as well as where to place Ozobot. So it's great to reference these as you're getting started to make sure you have everything set up correctly. This next tip is one of my favorites, something we were just talking about, which is share codes. I actually tell everyone to use share codes not only for challenge mats, but anytime you're programming with Ozobot Blockly. When it's time for your students to wrap up, ask them to save their program or copy down a share code. I'm going to hop back over to Ozobot Blockly to show you how to do that. If this is your student's program and they want to save it for later or submit it to you, they will go to Programs, and the button right here says Save As. This is going to save their program to the student's web browser on their personal device. Or you can press Share, and it will generate this share code, which is a unique link that'll take you back to this program, and they can also submit it to you. My third tip is to check out the accommodations and the extended challenges that are within the lesson plan. So we wanted to create accommodations for students that might not have as much coding experience, as well as extended challenges for those who do, and maybe they're early finishers. So be sure to look out for those, and they're in the direct instruction as well. And our last tip is to provide ample time for each lesson. We design these lessons to be completed within a single class period or day. They are really full of great information and activities, but we don't want students to feel rushed. So if they have that ample time, they can make iterations to their code, which is a really crucial skill in coding. Okay, and now it's time for our demo. I'm going to show you our basketball challenge mat. But before we dive in, I wanted to share with you the storyline that I've been mentioning this entire webinar. And it's really a captivating story that is supposed to set the stage for your students and spark their creativity and get them excited to code. So unleash your imagination with the basketball mat. In the bustling city of Roboville, excitement filled the air as the annual All-Star Basketball Showcase approached. Among the talented players selected to participate was Ozobot, a young basketball prodigy with dreams as big as the game itself. As the day of the showcase drew near, Ozobot circuits buzzed with anticipation, with each dribble of the ball and every shot it made on the neighborhood court. Ozobot imagined itself standing on the grand stage, showcasing its skills to the world. And you can go ahead and read the rest of that on your own, but I do want to agree, I do want to admit again that we have these stories at the beginning of every lesson plan, really again to just get your kids excited to code. Okay. And then after they read that, your students will be tasked with their coding challenge. I am going to show you what the final product of their code should look like, but remember that students have the entire class period to program and iterate their code to get to this point. Okay, so this first challenge tasks students with programming Ozobot to move across the court, dodging four defenders while maintaining continuous motion. So to succeed, students must utilize Ozobot's proximity sensors and apply conditional logic in their code. I'll go ahead and share with you my camera. All right, there is our basketball challenge mat, and you can see the four defenders lined up. And Ozobot is tasked with the challenge to move from one side of the court to the other. So I'll go ahead and connect my bot. And one more thing I wanted to mention about this first program is what's nice about it is this one specifically, it doesn't require an overwhelming number of blocks for your students' first lesson, but really it does offer plenty of opportunity for students to customize their code. They can create this program using blocks of different advancity from level 3 to 5. Okay, let's go ahead and set up our bot. And I'll just explain the program a little here. So this is a logic block where students are making a conditional statement. It says if there's an object in front, we're going to rotate around it. If there's not, we're just going to keep moving forward. And the whole section of code is in a loops block. You can see as it gets close to one of the defenders, it makes a turn, but keeps navigating from one end of the court to the other. All right, so now we're going to talk about the second lesson in this mat. It builds on that continuous movement. The advanced movement that we just did in the previous lesson. But it's asking students to run continuous and precise layup drills. And they have to do this from the 3-point line. So students are required to use loops, functions, and configurable movement. You can see here that I've created two functions, one to shoot the layup shot, and the second is to return back to the 3-point line. I will be placing the basketball back into Ozobot's arms, but the bot is doing the rest of the movement on its own. So I'm just going to add our arms and remove the defenders. And then place Ozobot on the 3-point line with the ball in its arms. And I'm going to bring this camera a little closer. Here we go. Okay. We'll run our program. Okay, so you can see that one. We made a layup shot. Place the ball back in Ozobot's arms. That one did not go in the hoop. So it's fun for your students to see how many shots they make, compete with a partner. And you don't have to have your students shoot just from the center of the 3-pointer line. You can shift Ozobot over to the side and see how that affects their program. Great. And for The last program that I'm going to share with you guys today is incorporating concepts of shooting as many baskets as possible from the center circle, imitating another drill that might happen at a showcase. Students are challenged to create this really advanced program where Ozobot will randomly select if it's going to get close to the basket and shoot a hoop, scoring 2 points, or if it's going to shoot from beyond the 3 point line, scoring 3 points. Each time Ozobot makes this choice, it's also going to announce if it's scoring 2 points or 3 points. Hopefully, you can hear it. If not, you'll be able to see when Ozobot flashes a red light on top. It's also saying if it's shooting 2 points or 3 points. Taking a look at the program, you can see here we're using conditional logic. We've created this randomization. We've created movement to shoot a 3 point shot and another to shoot a 2 point shot. And then we've also added variables here that are going to calculate the total score. And at the very end of the program, Ozobot will say the total score. Here our bot. I'm going to move it to the center circle. And go ahead and run my program. So it was a 3 pointer, it just said it shot 3, and I've coded time to let me put the bot back at the center circle. Another 3 pointer, we didn't make it in the basket. We scored 1. So you can see here, there's a lot of room for your students to make iterations and adjustment to their code to see what works best and how they can enable their bot to shoot the most points. Again, we can move our bot to the side. Doesn't have to be just the very center. Oh, all right. So that is all for our demo. I do want to share that the final challenge of this lesson asks students to use everything they've learned and play in a shooting contest with another player. So they're going to compete against one of their classmates and see who can score the most. And that is it for our Challenge Mat webinar today. Thank you so much for being here. If you are interested in purchasing one of these amazing challenge mats, you can find them on our website at shop.ozobot.com. And if you're interested in talking to someone on sales, you can contact them at sales@ozobot.com if you want a quote for maybe a larger order. Thank you again and have a good day.